What a beautiful day out there. It'd be the perfect day. Perfect day for flying. Well, if only I could. Truth is, I'm a bit past that now. I'm not the person I used to be. I'm sure a long way from where I used to live. A really long way. You know, I remember when I was a boy, growing up in a little village surrounded by farms. Yes, it was just north of Gladstone. It was a place called Ogilvy. Have you ever heard of it? No? Oh, well, don't be hard on yourself. Not many people have, but you know, that didn't stop me from being born there on June 1st, 1899. I didn't stay there very long, no. My family moved away a few years after that, and I went along with them. Starting in 1913, I was employed in automobile repair and maintenance. And, you know, automobiles were just a new thing back then, and they were all the rage. But they sure needed a lot of work. So I thought, you know, automobile repair, that might be a good trade to get into. Then, in 1914, things started to change there, but the thing is, I was a bit too young to enlist at the time. To be honest, I was a bit scared that fun would be over by the time I was old enough to get over there. But, as luck would have it, the war carried on, so on my 18th birthday, that's where I went, straight over to the recruiting office, and I signed up. Well, they sent me to Camp Borden for training, and I graduated as a second lieutenant. And I started serving in number 41 Squadron on the 26th of March, 1918. You know, I was wondering if I'd arrived too late to make any real difference. And I was just itching. I was just itching to get out there and teach them Germans a lesson.
I wish to recommend the above-named officer for the award of the Distinguished Flying Cross. Since joining this squadron, he has accounted for 6 enemy aircraft and 1 balloon destroyed. On the 12th of June, he drove an enemy aircraft, an Albatross Scout, down, following it down to 2,000 feet, forcing it to land in a field. Later, during the same patrol, he drove an enemy aircraft, a 2-seater, down out of control. His machine was badly shot about during this combat, but before returning, he attacked a hostile balloon. On the 13th of June, he destroyed another 2-seater, which he followed down to 400 feet and observed it crumple up on the ground with smoke issuing from the wreckage. On his way back, his engine was hit by machine gun fire from the ground, and he was forced to land 700 yards behind the French front line. He landed his machine quite safely.
You know, it really is a beautiful day today. Yeah, it wasn't peaceful back then, though. No, sir. Yeah, it was chaos, actually. But you know, the boys in the squadron, they called me Dozy because I didn't seem too fazed about everything that was going on at the time. Oh, those Germans. I sent so many of them spiraling down toward the ground. But sometimes when I watched them going down like that, I couldn't help but think. Couldn't help but wonder if my own time had come one day, and then I have missed something, and something important, and I would be the one spiraling down in a circle of smoke. Yeah, you never knew what was going to happen in those days. But we just kept on going out there, day after day, and hoping for the best, and just trying to bring down as many of those blasted Germans as we could.
On the morning of June 17th, while on an offensive patrol, William observed a hostile balloon. Diving upon this balloon, he opened fire, and the balloon went down at once with volumes of smoke issuing from it, so that it was destroyed. A short while afterwards, he was attacked by 5 enemy triplanes and other scouts, but he, however, managed to return to our lines, although his machine was riddled with bullets. He has at all times shown fine courage and a complete disregard for danger. In all, he has accounted for 30 enemy aircraft and 1 enemy kite balloon, and his efforts to make himself offensive to the enemy, both in the air and on the ground, in as many diverse ways as possible, are unceasing.
It was August, yes. And I set out on a patrol with Captain Frederick McCall and another airman. I can't quite remember his name right now. Anyways, we were out there looking for trouble, and you know, we found trouble. When we looked out there, there was about 40 to 60 planes out there. Wow, and it just like that, the sky was full of planes twisting and turning, and people fighting for their lives and falling to their death. It was a desperate battle. I don't know how we did it, but I managed to shoot down 3 of them Germans before I felt something just smack into my head, and I don't remember all that happened. I just remember fighting with the controls and trying to get control of my plane, and I felt myself getting weaker and weaker, and as I was fighting with the controls, I could see the ground coming closer and closer, and I was so scared I was going to crash, but you know, I managed to land that plane out there. I could feel blood running down my face, and I could feel myself getting weaker and weaker. But you know, if it hadn't been for the prompt attention of a German doctor operating on that bullet in my head, I wouldn't be here talking to you today. It's funny, isn't it? Throughout all my time in the service, I did everything in my power, everything I could to bring those Germans down. But you know, in the end, on that one day, that one terrible day when I was the one who needed help, it was a German who saved my life. It was a German. You know, I still can't quite believe it. I still can't quite believe it. Yeah. Even though I'm a journalist in the bustling city of Toronto, so far away from the person that I used to be in that little village of Ogilvy.